Hi everyone, this is Freeplay Frenchie and welcome to my latest video. This one is Freeplay Frenchie's top tips for writing. I realise the lighting isn't very good. I've just put my light on to try and make it look slightly less dark. It's not the best lighting and I'm apologising for that. But the good news is that I found two ways I can upload videos quite quickly now. One is at work when I go to work tomorrow on Saturday, and one is when I go to work on Monday. So I've got places to upload the videos now and I will try and keep them coming frequently as long as I have stuff I want to talk to you about. So thank you to everyone who submitted questions about writing to me. I really wanted to make this video because it's a passion of mine. To give you a little context, I have a degree in English and creative writing, a 2-1, so I know somewhat about what I'm talking about, and I got to meet some amazing tutors who gave me some valuable advice, really valuable advice that I'm going to carry with me forever. And I've written some books. They're not published yet, but I've written them. I'm working on one currently, and I know some stuff. So thank you to everyone who asked me questions, who DM'd me, who commented on the post. I'm going to jump right in with them. I'm doing 10 because then the video is not too long. So first one. Gamergram.gg asked me, what inspired you to take up writing in the first place? I've been writing for forever and ever, ever since I was little. I don't know why. I think it's kind of like people who like drawing. It just comes really naturally to you. And I have a lot of stories in my head all the time. Sometimes I have so many stories in my head that I can't be bothered to write them down. Like, the act of writing takes effort sometimes, and sometimes I just can't be bothered. But I have been writing forever, since I was at least younger than 12, I'd say. I've got notebooks scattered all over my room, in all my lockers, with some weird stories when I was little. So I suppose it just comes to you. It just comes to you, and you know whether you've got it or whether you've not. And if you're not, it doesn't bother you because you'll be something else you're good at. Okay, so that underscore Puerto Rican underscore geek asked me, I'm currently writing a blog and experiencing a bit of writer's block. How do you deal with that, and what tips can you give me on it? Writer's block is a bit of an odd one. For me, I can't say, correct me if I'm wrong, but for me writer's block is when you have nothing, you have no inspiration. And I suppose it's really hard when you have deadlines and when you've got things you've got to write but you're not feeling it. For me, writer's block comes in the form of not being bothered enough to write. I just don't care enough. I don't have the motivation. For me, it means I lack motivation. And the way I get around that is by not doing it. You can't force yourself to write. There is a very good quote that said, it's by a famous author, that said, if I just wrote every time I feel like writing, then I'd get loads done, or something like that. It was, I can't remember the quote now. It was something like that. If I didn't write every time, I can't remember. Bad me. But anyway, I find you can't really force yourself to write. That being said, if you've got a deadline and you need to, and you've got writer's block and you need a way around it, you need to walk away from your laptop. You need to walk away from your laptop or from your notepad. Any writer will tell you this. There's no point staring at it, hoping it'll write itself if you're not in the right headspace, or you haven't got the inspiration. You need to either go out or go for a drink or distract yourself, play some games, and just come back to it when you're feeling ready. If you're lacking, if it's about a particular piece, if it's about travel or if it's about food, maybe go out to eat, maybe take the train somewhere or the bus somewhere. Something will happen that will get your memory going again, and you'll start thinking about interesting things to include in the piece. That's what I would suggest when it comes to writer's block, to give it a rest. You can't really force these things, especially if it's creative. So number 3, this is from Baby Jones 23. What do you like to write about? And do you think there should be a certain age limit to writing or being a YouTuber? My favourite things to write about generally are fantasy, I'd say. That being said, my fantasy pieces are the bits that when I want to write about it are very, very short, and I don't show them to anybody, and it's just fan fiction or it's just silly things like that. I suppose my favourite things to write about are just things that come to me then and there, like little stories, little flash fiction. I love to write flash fiction because it's very, very short and you can write a good piece in a short space of time and get a story down. I love that. Do you think there should be a certain age limit to writing or being a YouTuber? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Every writer who's done well, most of them started from a very young age or had an inkling towards it. That being said, doesn't mean you can't start up whenever you feel like it. Start whenever you like. But And as far as being a YouTuber, no, start whenever you like. Just be aware that there's a lot of people out there who want to shut you down, who won't encourage you, who will tell you you're too young, and who'll tell you it's pointless and all the rest of it. So, and that there's nothing going to come out of it. So as long as you can take that on board, and as long as you feel mature enough to deal with that, write and start making videos whenever you like. That's what I would say. Okay, so Geeky Girl 55 said, where do you get your inspiration? Everywhere. Every writer will probably say this. I love people, even though I hate people some days. Mostly I love people. I love talking to people, and I like imagining what their lives are actually like. I like to look at people on the bus, and I work in a library sometimes, part-time, so I like to see people in there and imagine what's going on with them in their secret lives and make stories from that, because people are very interesting. And when you read, sometimes you'll learn that you make complex characters. It's a very tricky thing to do as a writer, make a character complex. You have to give them 3 depths, really, or level after level of emotion and things like that. So, yeah, that's where I get my inspiration, really. But mostly when I'm out and about and just thinking about things, and whether I'm on usually a train or in a car, that kind of something, I'll see something and that'll give me an idea for a story. So that's why I would suggest going out and about. Jackie Lloyd 7 said, do you think it's important for writers to get a degree in English? I would say there's 2 sides to this. Don't go to university unless you want to, for a start. If you're prepared for the amount of study that your degree requires, if you want to do it, if you are aware of the tuition fees, if you think if you don't care about any of that, then don't worry about it. I did a degree because even though the tuition fees are crazy, I don't think I'm ever going to have to pay it back, so it's fine. Well, I will eventually, hopefully, if my writing career does well, but you know what I mean. Don't worry about it too much, don't let it put you off. If you want the degree, go and get it. As far as doing an English degree comes forward, well, I would say you learn so much. You do learn so much. It's almost invaluable, more so from the tutors that you'll meet and the information and the stories you'll get from the tutors who will most likely be published writers. All my tutors were published writers, and the insight they give you into the publishing world, which is quite secretive and a little bit posh, is quite invaluable. But if you want to go alone, many writers have done it. It's harder, I think. It's harder to get your work out there, and harder to set yourself up, because you just learn so much in university. Writing is quite academic, and by going to university you get the academic insight into what's expected of you, what they want your writing to be like, and then you can decide whether you want to listen to them or not, and then you can decide whether you want your writing to be like that or not. So yes, if you want to, don't feel you have to, but you do learn a lot. And I certainly did, and I'm grateful for that. Despite the fact that I spent my first year doing Victorian literature, which I couldn't give a rat's arse about, I did learn lots in my 3rd year, so kind of worth it in the end. Number 6, Stargirl XXX asked, who are your favourite writers? My favourite writers are people like Rhianna Pratchett, who is Terry Pratchett's daughter. She did the Tomb Raider games. She rewrote them. I also really like Neil Gaiman, who I wrote my dissertation on. I think he's a fantastic writer. Joanne Harris, I think she's really clever. Who else? George R. Martin, obviously. I haven't read his books, but I love the Game of Thrones series, so he's up there. And I would say my favourite tutor from university, Dave Swan. He's one of my favourite writers as well. Very talented people out there. I don't mind J.K. Rowling, but she's not on my list, personally. Number 7, what's the longest thing you've written? From no_hope ×2. The longest thing I've written was probably my last book, which I submitted to a competition, which was in the region of 80,000 words. So it was a lot of writing. I'm sorry I look like such a goth in this lighting. I really don't know what's going on there. You'll have to bear with me. It'll be better next time. Yes, so I would say 80,000 words, my last novel, which is on my computer somewhere. I've written 2 novels. The 3rd one is coming. Number 8, Writing for Everyone asked, how do you get published? There's the $1 million question, isn't it? My advice would be, get yourself an agent. You can send your manuscript to publishing houses. They will put it in a room filled with other manuscripts. There is no point doing it. I mean, you can, of the off chance. Most publishing houses won't let you submit unsolicited manuscripts, which means they just come from you and not from an agent. They trust the agents, and they trust that coming from the agents, it will be worth publishing, or could be worth publishing. And you want an agent because they will be a champion for your work and they will help you make it better. So I would go onto a website, look up some agents, that's what I'm going to do, and go from there really. Yes, they take a commission, but if you're making a lot of money and it's good, shouldn't really matter too much anyway. It will be much harder going to publishing houses yourself. And I will come back to that in another video in depth about what you should do and stuff, but it's quite a long one. So, okay, number 9, only 27 said, what do you think of writing competitions where they promise to publish you? If you win, I suppose they will publish you if you win the writing competition. I think you mean about those websites maybe where they say everyone gets a publishing deal, or I don't know, Inknit I think is one of them, where they, it just sounds a bit dodgy. I know the ones you're talking about. Personally, go for it if you think it's going to go anywhere. But I think they do take a commission, these websites. So it's kind of like getting an agent, but not an agent, because it's not very personal. I'd much prefer a person I was meeting with to talk about with my book. So just go if you think it's going to be worth your time, or do it if you think it's going to be worth your time, if you're going to get the result and the deal that you want. If not, maybe stay clear. God, the lighting's so bad, I look like a demon. Okay, last one. Number 10. Bethany Brooke asked, what do you... I can't read my writing. What do you hate writing? I hate writing essays. As most writers who have done a degree will tell you, I hate writing essays. I hate writing anything I've been forced to write. And I don't really hate writing ever, but I do hate writing essays. Any creative person will not like really writing things they have to, or things that aren't their own. It's very, very hard and tiresome and annoying. So anything creative that I've come up with myself is the stuff to go with. There we go. 10 questions done. Thank you everyone for commenting. This is my room in the light, and I'm so sorry it's been in the dark. Let me lift you off here. Apologies all round. Okay, there we go. Okay, one day we'll have the nice equipment. One day we will. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Be cool, be kind.